All right, everybody, we're back here at day 2, week 3 of ESL Pro League Season 5. We just saw Counterlogic Gaming and the Misfits over on Cash. Kind of went just a little bit closer to the wire, some unorthodox stuff going on around there. But nonetheless, we're about to jump into Inferno. Give me some quick thoughts on Inferno.
Inferno, I'm on the train that really likes the new Inferno. I'm one of the big, I'm one of the big fans of that map. I think it's a clear upgrade from what we had in the past with the old version. I'm excited to see how it's going to pan out. Obviously, with the restrictions to the skyboxes, I'm not really sure how much innovation we're going to see in that sense in terms of new smokes and flashes and whatnot, but I think it's going to allow for teams to have a bit more of a looser play style. Like the choke points aren't as claustrophobic as they used to be, and I think that just oftentimes leads to better CS overall. So I'm really excited to see it back in the pool.
Yeah, I mean, it's Inferno, but it's not Inferno at the same token.
Yeah, well, it's Inferno. It's not old Inferno, but it's old Inferno in that sense, if you want to go way back.
It's not Inferno, but it's Inferno, but it's not Inferno at the same time.
Still Inferno.
Yeah, it's still Inferno. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I believe this is going to be the first time I think we've seen Inferno since we've been doing it this
Pro League,
season. Yeah.
Oh.
So it's exciting.
It definitely is. And obviously, if it's the first time you see the map in Pro League, then it's safe to assume that the teams haven't played it all that much. But I think the one thing that is cool about this map is that even though there's the slight differences to the layout and how the map is or how wide it is at certain points, etc., it's still fairly similar.
Well, to run us through a little bit of Misfits on Inferno, we've got Eric DeBear-Stromberg standing by. Take it away, Eric.
Thanks, Donna. Here we're going to take a look at Misfits against Team Rejects, a premier team. As you see, Sean Garris is already creeped up in the A apartments of Inferno. Shazam already died up middle. Somehow he got a kill. I don't know how that was possible, but as we see, Twist is coming back towards middle. He's going to help set up Sean Garris. He's going to smoke off left middle. As this is happening, Sean Garris is clearing his angles, having a good time, and he's going to be smoking off the pit side. Now, since Rejects are down 14-4, this isn't. They have to respect Misfits at this point. So they have to play passive. They have to respect them in a way that it allows Sean Garris to literally walk up the ramp side uncontested as Team Rejects has no idea that he could be in this area. They might, but they think it's going to be an A take with all the smokes and utility, but instead, Misfits are already back B, and this puts Sean Garris in a nice flank spot to where Strong Legs, when he rotates back to B, caught off guard, no idea that he was there. Should have expected it maybe, but easy round win for Misfits. Take over bomb site. Sick flank by Sean Garris. Easy game, easy life. And Misfits end up closing around really well on Inferno. Back to you, Stunna.
Thank you so much, Eric. Now, we're going to get quickly into this one, but before we do that, let me get some predictions from you on this.
I think it's going to be redemption time for Misfits. Haven't seen CLG play Inferno. I'm not sure how much time they're going to have to practice with Ricky. I think that's going to be the benefit that's going to take Misfits over the edge.
Well, taking them over the edge and hopefully not too quickly exiting B will be the Misfits taking on Counterlogic Gaming on D Inferno. Standing by are the Blaze combo. Take it away, guys.
The second time now that references showed up tonight, so just not giving Shazam any room at all. No redemption for him, unfortunately.
I think I actually disagree with Vendetta just based off playing against COG and Misfits. I actually think FNS and Cutler have a good idea how to play Inferno, and I think this Inferno kind of plays pretty similar. And I think we're going to see if they could adapt their setup like they used to do, and I'm pretty sure they are going to do on CT side. I kind of favor them in this matchup, and I'm not. And going into this, I would have thought Misfits would probably 2-0 them. Like I think roster v roster, Misfits is better, but just seeing the way that Misfits kind of played on Cash, and also having played against COG and playing against FNS and Cutler a lot in the past, I actually think they might have a really good Inferno. They used to vary their setup a lot on CT side. I actually remember watching their VODs, and they used to say, do the iBuyPower setup like all the time. So we'll see. They would like double arch at the right times and things like that. They nade window at the perfect time to bring Sean Garris down to 33 as they set up into what looks to be a quick A play. And they're set up perfectly to jump out of halls here. I mean, there's one player contesting it in Twist. He's not even peeking the end of halls, and one library and one arches. So this could be a quick round for CLG.
Yeah, Sean already getting chunked here, in case you missed it there. Then getting tossed across. Twist, one to the face, but unfortunately he's going to get one too. Kustig knocking him right back down, and also the rest of the team following suit to take fast control of A, but also the guys from Misfits are getting really quickly into a retake position. We can already see Shazam having picked up one frag there against Ricky, so we're almost even, I should say, down to a 4v3. FNS going to swing back out there for some reason. Nobody from Library was watching out for that, so Sean just completely taken out for free. Thankfully, Sick is in a position where he can trade that, so it goes down now to a 3v2 here. Misfits are closing the gap, though, and down will go Cutler, so it's up to Kusta clutch 1v3, and unfortunately won't even get one. Shazam knocks out Kusta, and it is the Misfits indeed that will take control here at the beginning of Inferno.
Yeah, and just a very poor, post-plant setup. I think FNS needs to, after he flashes him out, I think he needs to set up more for the post-plant and get in a better spot instead of everybody funneling towards site and pit. It's a lot better if you have somebody like Deep Halls who can counter flank or something like that, or still in Boiler, or even down middle, right? Instead, everybody's pushed up. Shazam kind of just runs up, gets that early pick. Behind the smoke, and it kind of opens things up for his team. Now it looks like they're going to do a 3 banana at the start. Not sure what Sean Gears is setting up there. He has a nade smoke flash and spawn, and then Sick peeks car right away, which is with relics at Spindle. So I'm not sure exactly what their setup is, but Escares comes back, and he sets up for just a default setup essentially.
Yeah, Shazam and Twist being your main point players over here on that A bomb site, and Twist probably going to be the more important one to have to watch out for this early aggression from CLG. Waiting for the smoke to fade, and he does get the Molotov down, and should actually cut off pretty much everyone here. Kusa's the only one that actually makes it across before the Molotov.
It really doesn't do anything. I don't know why you do that. I don't understand that at all. Like, all you're doing is delaying them 10 seconds, and like the delay thing doesn't work anymore because they added time to the clock. So even on Inferno, like, he just uses a smoke and a Molotov essentially for no reason. All he did was delay them, but it's not giving them any information or anything like that. And I mean, you're playing an anti-eco anyways. Like, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me.
So CLG instead just round back away from that and are going to push themselves over towards B, where there's a 2-man setup here from Misfits. Generally, again, the even style of play here. But the problem is Misfits are going to have to be quick on the rotate if they don't just go massive here and shut this all down on their own. Sick finding the first, Relics with the second. They do recover pretty quickly here, and it does not look like the guys from CLG are going to be getting very far at all. Already down to Finesse and Cutler, and they won't.
And do you see how Relics used his Molotov? That's how you want to use it. The spot comes, the flash comes, bam. You throw the Molotov. 2 guys come into the site, super easy kills. 3 guys are stuck behind the Molotov. I mean, that's how you want to use the utility. You don't want to just sit there in halls if you're Twist and throw a pre-smoke to delay them 10 seconds, and then throw a Molotov to delay them 8 more, and just use $1,100 essentially to delay them 20, 25 seconds. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. Then when the, hit comes, you don't have anything for it. It just, you'd much rather have a Molotov in the smoke late round.
So into the 3rd round we will go, and it is going to be the first up investment from CLG. Still enough, though, to be able to get them all AKs, along with armor sitting behind that. Utility is where they will really struggle here. But Misfits have also gotten really aggressive with their own utility. We can see the smoke at the edge of Banana to hold them back. They've reapplied this smoke over here at T-steps here, but it hasn't actually stopped them from moving in. So 2 players are still going to be sitting at the gates to be able to push their way up towards the balcony, and they will indeed follow through with that, as this is looking like a lot of CLG getting ready to move in at a moment's notice onto A. Or on the site itself, actually, Twist is probably going to find himself tested, especially if 2 players do push out from balcony and around over here towards the corner, as he's currently the only one here to defend it. The good news is there are rotations pretty close, but a lot of them are focused over here towards arches, which is smoked off as well. So Sean's not going to be able to get good intel just yet in terms of what's sitting on the other side. They can hear it, but they certainly aren't going to be able to act on it until they actually do follow through with this and move into the site. Still no signs of rotations, but the good news is they did push out towards B's, and they know for a fact that there is nothing there. Finesse strikes first, though, takes down Sean, and now Shazam has to challenge this. He will have teammate support, but now Ricky rolls back out, and Shazam whips big time. Doesn't realize the players are that close, so FNS just shuts him down before anything can be done. And these last 2, there's not a whole lot of room for a retake at all. More than likely, we'll see them fall back to save.
And that was actually a really smart play by Misfits. I was talking about Cash, how they weren't adapting, and I know they didn't win the round. They all 3 died, but that was because the execution wasn't there. But they go into this as Relics kills 2 in the back, and that's actually pretty big exit kills. We're going to see if Ricky can kill him on this challenge. He does. And but my point being is, generally speaking, in rounds like that, teams are really reluctant to go up porch. They know you have umps. They want to use some type of range advantage with AKs, and they kind of overplay it. Even the sight guy, you know, kind of ran towards Arch as well to contest. It just wasn't set up properly, right? Had they, you know, had it better set up where one guy spots, then the flash comes, and then they all peek together, it would have worked great. But you know, the idea was good, is what I'm getting at. So maybe Misfits can improve on that. Like if Sean Gares just spots there at the crack and then sees them and sees that they're walking up, then the flash comes at Arch and then they double peek, I bet they probably get at least 2 kills there and set their team up for a possible round win instead of what happened.
Thankfully for Misfits, they still have enough cash flow to be able to go back in onto the buy here now. So full rifles to work with instead of those SMGs. Decent utility here too, and we'll see still the aggressive presence being held by Sick over here to fend off any players that would push their way up. Banana, he's just playing contact around that new wall that's stuck back out there, giving these T's a little bit more coverage to work with. But he does actually give up that position over here in front of the wheelbarrow. And instead just going to push back up. Makes a great flashbang around the corner, but he didn't realize those 2 were there. Just goes for the kill at Wood here. Gets the second, and oh, the spray's not there for the third. So he does get taken out, but still, 2 kills are certainly enough. And not only this, it's going to push CLG back for a couple of extra seconds here and buy time for Relics to prepare in the event that they do follow through with a play over onto the B-bomb site.
Yeah, and that's 2 kills and 70 damage to FNS. And that kind of reminded me of how Envious used to play Banana when Happy was, you know, playing behind the sandbags. Sick kind of hears them that they were coming, and a flash is coming from Coffins, you know, the new spot where Spindle used to be, and then that's when he peeks and gets those kills.
Well, Cutler has himself actually really deep in enemy territory right now, all the way up to the A-bomb site, essentially. He's really hoping to get someone like Shazam peeking out from the site, although he hasn't. I don't think he's spotted him just yet, although with how aggressively he's holding this single angle, he actually may have an idea that someone is positioned around here. And that could be what he's waiting for. Time's getting low, though, so he does need to get his other 2 teammates in position here to be able to execute, and they will start to move back up, move into this one. Twist will get the spot onto this one. The Molotov moving out, too, but that spot may actually get Shazam to move into the open. Not yet, though. Twist peeking back out, grabbing this 1 kill back over here. Cutler being able to trade it. Shazam, in the meantime, though, was able to actually successfully fall back around the library corner, but at the same time, he's going to get smoked back off, which means Misfits now on retake duty. Won't be the hardest task in the world. 3v2 to work with, but they spot that boost up there, and they'll trade 1 for 1 again. Now Cutler is aligned in a 1v2, essentially 0 utility. He has 1 flash, which he can use to buy himself a little bit more time or throw off the guys from Misfits on the retake, but he swings back out. That smoke is fading. He does manage to spot the player in the backside there, but gets himself a duel with Relics to start back off, and the nade from the backside on Sean is going to finish things off. He'll take down Cutler with that, and then it will be a third for the Misfits.
Yeah, Sean is very lucky that he had that nade, because if that nade didn't kill him, he probably would have loses that round, because Cutler could play around that Pope area for a pretty long time. Unfortunately for CLG, losing that round, but now this is going to be the important round. Whichever team is able to win this round is going to force the other team into a save and could probably take early control of this map. A little bit of a better buy, in my opinion, on Misfits, because they do have the op. But, you know, CLG just going fast people, 4 people. So they're going to try to isolate these guys, but there's 3 players here by Misfits, and all of a sudden the positional advantage is heavily in favor of Misfits.
They go 1 for 1 at the start, though. Ricky being able to box out Relics over there, sitting behind the sandbags, and it gets reversed as we do take a look at Ricky getting knocked out there a moment later as well. But we still have CLG. They're sticking to their guns. They still have the presence up on top. That does not mean they're not going to kind of give this one back up and still try to play it over there towards A. But for right now, again, obviously, all this action happening with just the first couple seconds of the round. They still have plenty of time to work with, and they're kind of going to hang out right here, see if Misfits try to do anything else, and then if not, work towards an execute here. They still have Cutler, I believe, sitting back over there watching out for the presence up mid, too. But he'll be regrouping with these guys. As you can see, they're even looking at the ground, as they may move up in a moment here to try and line up for some smokes and a setup into the site. The site itself, as you can see, is essentially empty, but it's Sean sitting back over here behind the coffin, waiting for them to push back in, and he is currently the only one here. They have Sick, but he's pretty detached on a cross, and we can almost guarantee that CLG would go for the smoke there, which they're going to do right now. Sean, though, finding his first mark, will take down Cutler, and the rest of the team pushing back in. They get good control, and Sean even yields more room, which means he's going to get smoked right back out, but okay, Sean has the Molotov on the ground, and they underestimate that, so Ethan burns to it, and now CLG are down to 2, and this, in theory, should be a very simple retake for Misfits to grab, especially with Sean finding that additional kill on Akusta there. It's all in Finesse's hands. We'll see what he can do here as he re-smokes things back over there towards the CT direction. Even gets some good damage over there onto one of these CT players. But overall, not much to be done in that scenario. So Misfits just walk right in. They'll grab this defuse. No one from CLG will be able to save. And they'll be in really good shape after the win there.
Yeah, and I mean, the bomb wasn't even planted for him, so he really just had no chance of winning that round. And unfortunately for CLG, they don't even really get many kills. I mean, only 1 kill for that entire round, and Sean has a huge 4K and one of the most important rounds in this half for sure.
Yeah, he's able to play very passively about things, and it holds it off very, very well, grabbing that first kill there as they just try to push their way back in. Molotov kill against Ethan is a little bit comical, but I think he also gets one more potentially through a smoke as some of the other members from CLG attempt to retreat back over there towards Banana. So this has put them on a save. Tech 9s galore, and along with P250s here, only 2 players invest into armor, and utility is rather scarce as well. So not expecting anything too complex from CLG this time around. We can already see just a big focus of players trying to push their way up towards the T steps as soon as that smoke fades away. Again, plenty of time, so not really going to be an issue here. The Molotov goes out. Twist knows there's presence coming, but it's a quick peek and a quick kill against Kusta. And as the Molotov was also tossed back out, it held the rest of the team back, so no one else is going to be able to follow through and try to finish the kill into Twist. Twist actually going to go back out. He spotted a player with a nade in hand, but thankfully Ethan was watching out for that one, so he's able to hold on there. But as the kills continue, it has left itself in a 2v1. Finesse as the last man standing here from CLG. He has found himself an M4, so he's not completely comatose here to try and clutch this one back out in the 1v2, but he's going to push back in, and Shazam really just playing with him there, having a good time, finds the angle with which to kill him and put Misfits up to 5.
Yeah, but still a very good eco by CLG getting those 3 kills. They are going to get almost fully bought up here. I mean, Kustas and FNS are kind of lacking a little bit in utility and whatnot. Kusta actually opts for the Galil, gets double flash and a smoke. So this might be something where we might be looking at like a set strategy here. But Misfits is taking early control in this game, and they're varying their setup. I was worried that Misfits was just going to come into this and just play a default setup, you know, waste their smokes, you know, like really early on the round. See, now the difference is that they have like this 3B setup. It's a little bit different. Like, I don't mind him using the smoke to delay them. When they have a 3B setup like this, like, that's okay because you're letting your teammates get set up and then they could fall back, you know? But when you just use it like in anti-eco, you know, in areas where you're played, you know, a default, that's when I don't like you to use it. There has to be like reason behind using your utility, not just to delay anymore. That's, you know, you want to set up, or if your other teammates are on a different side of the map to make a play and you want to buy yourself time, that's one thing. But just to use it to delay people in 5v5 CS, I don't think is intelligent.
Well, Cutler pushing himself in there is actually going to find the first kill in this round against Twist, leaving the A-bomb sit a little bit weaker, which will call for the rotation of Sick back over from B. In the meantime, Sean still sitting over here in the CT cubby to watch out for this, and Shazam as well, waiting for a porch push over in that direction, but because of the weak support leading over there towards the balcony too, he is going to have to be cautious of that. Sick had pushed himself into a position to watch out for this, but Shazam again missing his first shot. He does connect on the second. Sean is also going to find a mark here too. Now Kus is able to trade. Shazam with one more. He's still hiding behind this wall, but a big miss is going to lead to a big death against his favorite. Sean walking right out through the smoke will put him in a position against 2 players, and now it's a 2v1. Rolex will have to try to clutch out with 0 utility. Does not have head armor, but they're both AKs, so that's not going to be mattering too much. He's pushed himself in. Oh, Molly works out beautifully for CLG's players as it ends up doing half the HP off of Relics, pushing him back big time. And again, like I said before, no utility for Relics to use. This has to be a completely dry retake and hope that he can catch these players over peeking. He did see Cutler, but he noticed him far too late. And again, uses a quarter of his clip here too. Now up to the site though, behind the box, and there's going to be a player directly behind him. It's Kusta. Doesn't even notice that he's positioned there, so it's an easy closeout in the 2v1 for CLG.
Yeah, and that was a much needed round. And you know what? If they didn't get those 3 kills on those anti-ecos, like Misfits has money to buy and they're, you know, feeling fine right now. But instead, look what happens. They might buy, but it looks like, yeah, so they are going to save like I thought. And they're only saving because of those 3 kills that they got on the anti-eco. So those come back to bite you. You know, that haunts you if you're Misfits on a round that you should win pretty cleanly.
Well, Cutler is going to push himself forward here, looking for anyone that would be around the corner here. It's really fast control this time around for CLG, as Misfits are just going to be onto an eco here. The molly that they had tossed out restricts them a little bit, but not too much. Ultimately, Ethan already grabbing the first kill there on the round, and Finesse waiting for a push to come out from these CTs here. He may have himself an easy chance to take down Sick, and there it is going to be. knocking him back out and really just systematically dispatching of everyone on Misfits one by one by one. Shazam, one of the last few players standing, tries to go for a peek. That's not going to pan out, and Relic suffers the same fate. A moment later by Cutler, knocking him out, putting CLG up to 3 now.
Yeah, 5-3. Misfits money still doesn't look great, but they are going to scrounge up a buy here. And now this is where you really need your Opera and Shazam. And, you know, Sick can opt too if he wants to double up. But you need some type of an advantage, right? You need somebody to make a play. And in my opinion, it should always be the Opera. Like in a scenario like this where your team's pretty low bot, you know, you have a couple umps on the board and 2 M4s, like I think you should try to look to make it 4v5 if you're Shazam here. Or just, you know, maybe not make it 4v5, but take position somewhere on the map. And I think even opping Porch is okay. You know, something where you could have 3 towards B, you know, and take like a calculated risk like this. And this is good. This is what I like to see. You know, utilizing what you have to try to leverage it into, you know, some type of a round win. Now, CLG gives up B control. Twist playing on the balcony, per usual. Sean Garris pushes back B and then comes back towards the A site. So he's going to play now. And now it's kind of like a default setup, but they do have a close B control, and that can kind of change the look that CLG is going to throw at you, right? A lot of the time, they're not going to be able to send a 5-man ticket A. Maybe they have to worry about the flank so much, right? Mid control happening from CLG now, though. So we'll see if they want to go back to B or try to split B or just, you know, do some sort of A take.
Well, all of CLG, again, have managed to get themselves through the threshold here at mid to start their push in A. Problem being, though, is, again, there was nobody defending Banana. So Misfits were able to push back in there and essentially realize that there is no presence at all, which means defenses on A are going to be very, very strong indeed. They already have a 3-man setup, and a 4th is on his way to try and defend this one. A good lineup, actually, that Relics had there, but they bait them into a team kill, so they will lose an additional player in that exchange. Twist finding one more. It's Ricky that tries to jump down from the balcony here, and Finesse is looking a bit confused as he just kind of loses his life to a combination of Twist and Shazam. Now it's just Cutler, and Shazam's going to finish off that one as well. He ends up with a nice 3K on the round, and Misfits shoot ahead once again, up to 6 now.
Yeah, and that was very well done by Misfits. They needed some type of an advantage, right? So they push B and they end up into a 4A stack, right? They had the player at library. After Shazam gets that kill, he peeks. He essentially goes 1 for 1 because he forces a TK. And then they still have 3 players towards the A side of the map in Shazam and Moto, one site, and Twist in the pit, dropping down from balcony.
Well, Kusta may have himself a bit of an early fight here, too. If he holds that angle, we could see them peeking out a moment ago, and they may do it again. He's got it right there, and there's the shot against Sick. Kusta already finding 1, and that puts them into a 5v4.
Yeah, making up for the lost duel on Shazam there to make it 5v4 right away. And Cutler uses Twist smoke against him. Makes it 5v3 right off the bat, and they still have 2 players towards B. Shazam evens it up at Halls, throws a molly down. Porch, Relics makes it 3v3, so just, you know, whenever you get like a 3v5 like that, I think SK plays it the best. They get even more passive, actually. You know, they don't even hold like the angles where they could potentially die at all, even if they feel like they have a slight advantage there. They just go even more passive. Instead, we saw these guys like holding the Halls angle, you know, kind of still fighting B, instead of just giving up ground.
Well, Shazam positions himself back here now to try and wait for more kills to roll back in, and indeed, he's fed one. That's Ethan peeking out with no utility assistance at all there through the threshold at mid, taking him back down. Finesse along with Cutler, both of the last 2 that are, again, thankfully together here, trying to push their way over towards A, but there is no safe route into that site. They still have smokes and wanted to try and use here, too. We can see them being deployed out now. Cutler is going to toss some flashbangs in, both of which is pretty successfully, but can't actually find anyone, and by the time he spots Sean, he's already a dead man. Finesse will be able to trade, but now he's got a 1v2, only 20 seconds left, and Shazam's close contact here, so he can have a lot of free room to push up while that bomb is being planted. Doesn't realize it though, so he still holds in that corner, and the smoke will roll back in. Problem being, Finesse is not watching the other side, which means it'll be another easy closeout for Misfits as they push up to 7.
Yeah, those are some cool flashbangs by Cutler, though. I actually didn't know that you could do that. It got him pretty good. I mean, it's tough to capitalize off those flashbangs yourself, but I think if you throw them for your teammates, they'd probably really be able to run out with it. Instead, though, you know, once you get out there, it's just too late. I think the guy gets unblind by the time Cutler can even get a shot off. So now they're put back onto a save. Head armor on Cutler and half armor onto FNS, though. So they still do have a chance of winning this round. Double op setup coming out from Misfits, though. Sick is going to utilize it. And their double opper, like, the secondary opera on this team gets done by committee, right? You're always going to have Shazam on the primary, but then Twist, Escares, or Sick, I think all of them can, you know, be pretty decent at opping, so they kind of just get that done by committee, just whoever's feeling it at the time.
Well, not forcing, I should say, Shazam to take a shot early on here after tagging him a little bit down to 78 is going to give CLG the room they need to push through this mid choke point again. They really haven't been struggling at all to get themselves into this area of the map. It's really just been trying to get past this and get full site control without being completely overwhelmed by Misfits, or Misfits obviously realizing what's happening really early on in the round and then having to rotate there before CLG even start the take. This time, though, things are looking okay. Now they actually need to move in and execute on these entries. It's going to be a little bit tough with this gunpowder. We do see, though, Shazam missing another shot on the repeat, though. He does take down Ricky. He has Kusta at 31, so he actually may have connected that first one through the wall a little bit, but still, now they push back in. Cutler fighting that one pickup there is still the only one they've gotten. FNSC is able to overwhelm Sean a little bit there, and also Kusta sneaking around through CT spawn. You saw the makings of it there about 10 seconds ago, but it ends up working out to where he now picks up the op to work with, and he can also try to hold them off on rotation, but he just got shot through the wall, possibly from really far back. He's not at 8 HP. Relics sitting back over here too is going to try to push out against this. Kusa did give up his position. He's back over here in the graveyard right now. And as we take a look at Sick, he's also still pretty detached from all of this, so Misfits don't really have good positioning to actually retake this anymore, and it's looking great for CLG. Relics hoping that he can get FNS to peek back out. Sick, in the meantime, did find a shot in Akusta. Relics finding a second. Cutler trades. They're in a 1v1, and Relics, he's just going to jump onto this bomb. He has it in the new emo corner on in this site, shaking around to make himself a mystery. He can see it, but no! Misfits! They'll grab the defuse just as Relics gets hit by a headshot from Cutler, and off of that, they'll pick up an 8th.
Wow, that was like down to the very, very last millisecond. I have no idea how this guy got shot in library, though.
That's what I was wondering, too.
What happened? Where did that bullet come from?
We'd have to take a look at that's honestly something you almost had to go back and take a look at the demo on that, because it almost seemed like it came from the CT, but he was like way in the back of apartments.
I know, that's what I thought. I'm like, did this guy like shoot through like 8 walls and hit him or something? I have no idea what happened there.
All right, well, we'll have to take a look at that one a little bit later on. Maybe we can get the replay for halftime. But as we take a look here.
This is a very, very important round, though. And this is a round, again, that's like one of those swing rounds. And CLG hasn't won one of these yet. Even though they won that anti-eco, they didn't break Misfits' money, you know? So Misfits still has another chance to pick up this round and, you know, force CLG on another save. But if CLG wins it on the other hand, it's going to be a big swing in momentum. Misfits is definitely going to save maybe once or twice, and all of a sudden CLG could get, you know, 6-7 rounds maybe on this half.
CLG sitting at the gates of the entrance to B over here at the outset of Banana. Again, Misfits have not really challenged things on this round. They've grown much more passive here now, where previously actually they didn't even have a second thought about trying to move out and play aggressively out here in this kind of staging area. Now though, thoughts have changed. And obviously, with the amount of utility and gunpowder they have, it's not may not be the smartest idea either. It's Relics and Sick that will be playing together here on B in a cross spray angle as Sick sits over there towards CT. Even on top of this little flower pot here as well, so we may be able to see over the smoke. Spots one, drops down. He knows what the second one is, but he can't actually execute it because of that. Ethan is going to be able to sneak in the kill into Relics. He tries to wrap back over there through the garden, but unfortunately, the smoke's covering this one off as well. He's now down at 3 HP again, Ethan from before, but now Kusta moving in here. He's already picked up 2 kills. Sick can't do anything until this smoke fades away. He's lost all of his traction all of a sudden that he could have had from that nice little boosted up position on the flower pot, and it looks like both Sick and Twist are just going to have to resolve to fall back and save at the end of the day.
Yeah, and even though Sick gets that first kill, he doesn't stay on the ledge. He does 97 to Ethan, but I believe it was Relics that was the anchor at B. Doesn't really do anything. I think he just died right away. Didn't do 1 point of damage. So the site gets taken, and Ricky on the lurk, you know, kind of delays that rotate a little bit, and then, you know, Gusta just getting those 2 kills kind of shuts down the round. I'm not sure if it's T or CT sided, if you could take Inferno at B but not have construction control and be in like a 3v4 or you know, a man down, but they have construction control. It's kind of tough to say. In that situation, it was a 4v4 though, so I think CLG definitely does have the advantage, even though Ethan does have 3 HP.
Well, now as we get into our next one here at Misfits, although they did have a nice streak going to solidify the lead, regardless of the outcome of these last couple of rounds. Now, though, they are going to find themselves in a very stretched out situation. Just upgraded pistols, the AWP and the M4 sitting on Sick and Twist, but the good news is that AWP has already found a kill. Kusta Unfortunately getting taken down right at the beginning of this round. Sick, though, off of that kill, since no one else is spotted currently back on Banana. He is going to rotate very early on to add a third person over here towards A, where previously they were playing a full 3-player commitment there towards B. Having the op in there before, now Sick will take the mantle up over here around the Arch's wrap side to see if he can find anyone else trying to push into that mid choke, which has been a favorite spot for CLG to push in the early round, although he gets banged almost head on. Timing on that one working out perfectly. The good news is that no one suspects him back around this corner, so he's going to sink these 2 kills. In the Molotov, though, just barely gets out of it with 1 HP, and now he's going to get pushed. The timing on the shot is also tries to fall back, but just walks into a corner, and at the end of the day, Shazam comes out with 2 Huandiks seemingly out of nowhere and eliminates Ethan and Ricky with it.
Yeah, 6 saving that round. I mean, that was a force buy round, another one of those big rounds that they're able to win with limited, you know, a very limited purchase. And now it's 9-4. They're just swapping weapons. I don't know. They're still stuck in spawn about 7-8 seconds into the round. Luckily, CLG doesn't look like they're rushing. Well, actually, they're getting in position very, very quickly here.
Yeah, Cutler already up on top of the window room here, pushing himself inside to try and play through on this one. Twist also sitting back outside of balcony there. Pretty close though, as he has gone kind of in and out there to check the hall to see if anyone from CLG is going to push through that. The smoke is on the cross for it, so won't be able to spot anyone in the back of the apartments. But now we do see the smoke coming back over here on the left side of it, and Shazam specifically sitting back down here, getting prepped in the event they do go for that mid choke point control again. Moving all around currently. Flashbangs rolling back in here. Shazam not going to be hit by anyone, but he is surprised actually by Ricky, who sits in the boiler there, spraying him down through the wall. They edge out that kill. Again, still have plenty of time to work with, so they're actually going to fall back a little bit, sending the bomb back down through alt mid to be able to deploy better smokes one up, but no one is left to watch over there towards the port side, so Twist walks right up, gets the free kill on the Kusta. Sean tries to challenge this one as well, but that doesn't go very well for him. Ethan is going to be able to hold there, picking up the kill. Twist still sitting on the site, hugging around this pole, but of course his teammate blocked it for falling back behind the box, so Finesse found that frag. Ricky takes down Sick as he's able to trade out at least one more kill, and this will come down to a 2v1. Relic's looking to clutch. Again, no utility though. He does have a kit, so he has extra time to play with, and Finesse is very low already at 18 HP. But taking this path, if he goes out too bluntly against this one, there is going to be a player waiting to immediately take him down. Thankfully for Relics, Ricky's going to miss that shot, but now they do know where he is. He'll be hit by a flashbang. He has coverage though behind the new hay barrel there, and Finesse does not seem to be wanting to do anything too aggressive here at this point. Keep in mind, like I said before, Relics does have the kit, so he has the extra time to play with, but that extra time is running out here very quickly, swinging back in. Hasn't even seen Finesse, and when he does wrap around that corner, it's a big surprise to find a T standing out in the open there. He'll finish off the job and put CLG up to 5.
Yeah, and now Misfits buy on this last round is pretty bad. I mean, they're just going to have the 1 rifle, mag 7, and then 3 pistols. But Shazam does have a deagle, and he's been showing up this half. I mean, he's 14-7, Sick, kind of secondary with 12-7 on him. CLG just kind of getting it done by committee. Cutler getting a lot of entries, actually. I think he's been the most impactful player by far at 12-11. Really doing a good job at kind of like pushing Porch back and you know, getting the kills around that area of the map.
Well, Sean is going to play much closer contact on this round since Misfits do have to...
He should get this kill. CLG isn't spamming at all. This is a spot that you could spam so easily now in these apartments. Like, that should never happen. And Cutler kills Twist right behind him as well. So he's just going to run out A, but Shazam has a nice little flank here. He might be able to save this round for his team. And he's very smartly getting the rotate first.
Grabs Finesse mid-air on the headshot. Even Sick taking out the player that was left to watch out for banana control here too. So they're left in a 3v2. Shazam obviously will have plenty of time to hop back down here and pick up the gun from his fallen opponent from before. So yeah, he's got the AK. Relics also has the AK from the guy they killed on Banana a couple seconds ago too. And again, Sick coming on 5-7, not the most incapable gun here. We see Shazam impacting already on Nakusa, and now it's down to Cutler. He'll have to ace this if he wants to see his team go up to 6, but not even going to be given a chance. Relics shutting him down, and Misfits on a forced-up engagement will be able to put together one more to close out the half. They'll go 10-5 here on the CT side, and it keeps them in good shape as they head over towards the T side. Guys, we're going to be returning here in just a few moments with the second half again. It's been a fairly competitive match here between these two teams, so stick around for the conclusion of it, as Inferno will be continuing.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
Well, welcome back again, ladies and gentlemen. It's Inferno here for our second map of the evening. The first time, if we recall correctly, that Inferno has been played since we switched it into the map pool starting in week number 2, just 2 weeks ago. And it has been Misfits and CLG that have been selected as our first teams to play it off here. And, well, it's been going pretty well for Misfits, but coming off their CT side and on a very CT-sided map, traditionally somewhat to be expected here. CLG certainly did not put up certainly put up a bit of a fight, of course, in their T side, racking up 5 rounds there.
I think it was actually really, really close. I mean, there was a lot of back and forth. Misfits, you know, they won a couple of those swing rounds. CLG kind of got back into it, but 5 rounds isn't too bad. They just really do need to win the CT pistol. I think if they lose the CT pistol, they have a very rough road ahead of them. I think it's going to be really difficult to win out from that. But, you know, I do think this map is CT-sided, but I think you have to play it the right way. Ricky getting very, very aggressive at mid, kills going down. TK comes out from sick. Shazam killing Ethan. Now FNS is kind of alone on this A site. This is against these jumping Glockers.
So he's going to try to hold against this one. Finds that first one, finds that second one. There's one more to go, and he gets it. And there's one more sitting back on the balcony, too. Given time to go for the reload. This one's low as well, and there you go. Finesse holds on a miracle box and holds up with the 4K. CLG will win that pistol, and now they have their route back into the game.
Yeah, I did not think that was going to occur. I thought, you know, FNS, although he's a solid player, he's not known for those like flashy plays like this, where he just pulls out a 4K like that. But great job by him, and he's leading the way. You know, the 2 veterans on CLG, FNS and Cutler, I swear they've been on this team for a decade now, it feels like. Really leading the way for CLG.
It's like the end of 2014, I think, when they originally signed under that name with that old roster. So it's been quite a while. Fortunately, FNS had some time off from the roster. On what was Misfits at the time.
It was.
So, interesting story note there as well, for those of you who haven't been paying attention for the past year or so now. But for CLG in this round, of course, just taking it slowly across the map. Their usual spread of CTs, 3-2. Again, no one really over-rotating or anything just yet and playing to fairly usual positions. Misfits have decided, since they did not get the plant there, to go for the force-up into the second one here. Armor and upgraded pistols across the board with a little bit of utility, but they're not really making any moves either. Just kind of pushed their way up alt mid and took apartments control, but beyond that, nothing too much happening here as they run on the clock a little bit before they actually move in for any serious map control.
Yeah, and CLG just kind of playing behind their smokes right now. I think they did re-smoke banana as well. Good nade comes out. Nope, only does 10 damage. I think it is really smart to nade behind that broken wall at times, or not broken wall, but wall at banana at times. I think, you know, obviously people just funnel towards that positioning. But this Misfits could definitely win this round. I mean, 2 smokes, a Molotov, double flash. Looks like they're going to kind of come back towards A a little bit, though. B does have a quick rotate from spawn, so this is actually a really good decision.
Yeah, as we can see, Kusta with all the nades and whatnot, you can see the smokes there on the big map that they were tossed back out over there to try and throw it as it was going to be a B hit. Thing is, though, is they're walking back in with very little utility into this site, and Cutler just tearing them to shreds. And look at the time, too. 5 seconds remaining. They're not even going to be able to get that bomb onto the site, even if they got those kills. So Shazam holding it back off for now, but the time runs out, and Kusta grabs the final kill. I'm pretty sure they got that before the timer ran out, so Shazam should still get cash. Yeah, he'll still get the cash, but it's a very little consequences they're going to be saving here fully anyway.
Yeah, and Cutler does a great job in pit, and I always thought you know, on the old Inferno, he was very, very good at this position. He would play Pope, Sight, anywhere around there. Really played it well. Uses utility very well as well. Didn't overpeak. A lot of the time, usually what gets you in trouble is when you fight these guys at Porch, but you fight them too deep in the Porch and they're able to kind of aim battle you. Cutler does a good job of having like the restraint of just over peaking, and he makes you really commit, and that's usually how you want to hold that ace site. Like, make them commit, because if you just get in these duels where they're kind of far back, that's usually when you end up dying and not holding.
CLG holding off on Banana here very easily. Sick being able to trade out one with a Glock. Ultimately, though, Ricky actually pushed back.
Oh, God.
Relic sneaks in the knife there. Ricky not able to find that last bullet as he goes leaping through the air. So a little bit of a surprise there at the end in the favor of CLG, but ultimately the round still goes in the favor of the Renegades. Or excuse me, CLG.
Yeah, and I think this first round will be very telling of what type of team we're going to see from CLG. If they're going to be actively, you know, trying to get an advantage somewhere across the map, and it looks like that's what we are going to see. They're triple pushing B right away. Counter volley comes out from Misfits, but Kusta does not care. Pushes out. Cares now because he went down to about 35 HP. But they are trying to get control to make it easier for themselves later on in this round.
Finesse trying to peek in there to see if anybody from Misfits pushed through that smoke. Relic sitting on the other side, but has not decided to test the waters on it just yet. Although that nade, let's see, no damage at all. Just brings FNS down to 99. So 1 damage that the nade does, as I think Kusta installed it there since he was behind the paneling.
Yeah, and I'm curious what angle Ethan's going to go at, because... Excuse me, not Ethan. Who's the number 7 man? Kusta. There's a nice angle that you could play when the smoke dissipates. You could actually go on top of this wooden plank and get a really deep spot, and also it's a very nice off angle. He doesn't really have to do that because he's opping, but I mean they have a 4-man A stack. They're not pushing back B, so this could be very dangerous for Misfits. See, they're throwing very default smokes right here, and they're going to take mid control, and that smoke's not even good. So if they come towards porch, they're going to be fighting 4 people very quickly.
Now CLG getting prepped for this here too, as Misfits do run low on time. They had this problem in the last round where they did essentially run back out, so now they're going to try to go a little bit earlier on. Still, the 28 seconds is not great. Cutler, though, where's his spray going? He's not able to find anyone. Ethan can hold, though. He picks up 2 kills before finally being taken down by Relics. Relics, though, was the one saving Misfits at this point, as he kept them in it for so long, but now he's gone down at the hands of Ricky. And Ricky will also be looking for one more there against Twist, but it's a very, very tiny pixel headshot angle, so a bit rough to try and sink that shot. Nades again being tossed back out, doing about 10 damage overall to Ricky, but Kusta still very heavily lit from previously. The Molotov will force Shazam to play a bit closer to this box over here, and the flashbang will pretty much be a complete miss. It would have allowed his teammate to peek back out, but in the meantime, well, his teammate's going to hide away for a few extra seconds. Shazam will swing out a bit, finding Kusta inside a moto there, and for Ricky, now left alone to try and clutch this 1v2. No kit to work with, so instead, decides to just pick up the op and run away. Shazam knows it, so he is going to try to chase him back down here. If he can prevent them from saving that op, that'll be great, but as he tries to go back in, and a little bit tricky there. Twist does find the headshot angle and take him back down.
Yeah, and COG, again, I mean, they were set up very, very well. If Cutler doesn't miss those shots on that guy rapping, they win that round so cleanly. I mean, they probably win that round with like 4 alive. But because Cutler was missing those shots on that guy rapping, Sick was able to kill the guy's sight. And I'm not sure if Cutler got a kill or not, but he died immediately after, right? So sometimes it just comes down to hitting your shots. You're set up perfectly. And that's quite a few times, going back to Cash, that COG has been set up so well in the round and just set up so well for success. Like, they had them completely countered. They had 1B, 4A, they hit A, they have a quick sight rotate on the players, but just not able to hit the shots, not able to connect, and suffering because of it and losing the round because of it.
Well, CLG, again, spreading their wings across the map here. And actually pretty aggressively holding the edge of Banana here initially, although that's going to change now. Ricky's still holding it for the moment, but he could fall back at any moment, especially with FNS bailing out to go for the 4 stack there on 8. They have seemed to have gotten some intel that would tell the other direction there. And Ricky takes the shot. It does connect onto Relics, but it's through a wall, so it's not going to be full kill. only knocking off about half the HP there. So they'll give up that quest and just work their way over here towards mid, whereas the smokes fade. They were going to push, but then another one just reapplied itself. CLG still has more than that, too. And Ethan still has himself a smoke to work with, and they have 2 Molotovs to try and fend this off. And Misfits go directly for this. This is going to be a little bit rough. The good news is that that quick rotator that came over from B a few months ago, Finesse, has gone back to B. So it is still your just standard 3-man defense here. But now the Molotov has gone on the choke point. It's only the apartment players that can make progress. Nobody's looked towards Boiler or anything like that. So they'll move back in. Who's still getting hit with a flashbang, so he will be sent back around the corner. But Ethan, he's ready for this. That smoke up over there on the balcony is not letting these guys from Misfits spot anything at all as they move into the site. Finally, there's a frag from Sean as he does push his way back in. And the guys in pit are isolated due to the smokes that were tossed out here a few moments ago. So they have to kind of wait it out cautiously. But this is a rough hold here for the Misfits guys. As in a moment, Ricky's also going to be coming in for the backside along with FNS. So they have no room to work with. And speaking of which, there's FNS now. Shazam's just found in the open. Ethan finding one more. It's down to Relics now, and he's surrounded from every which way. So CLG will pull it off and get themselves up to 9.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about with CLG. Like, they're playing positionally very, very sound. They're disjointing the attack. They're, positionally set up very, very well. Having said that, Misfits, a botched left mid-smoke, apartments coming out, a good 5 seconds before Porch could even have an impact in the round. What are you going to do? The guys come out halls, they die for free, essentially. The Porch guys are all smoked out. They don't have any opportunity to even see anybody. And they're coming way later than the apartment guys. So, just really outplayed there if you're Misfits.
Well, CLG again try to test their luck there over at Banana as Ricky picks up that first kill against Twist. More are going to try to push their way in, but they have no flashes or anything to support it, and that's the bomb that just went down too. So they have no choice but to smoke this back out, but even there, look at it, it all gets destroyed. And it's so one-sided, not a single point of damage is done against CLG.
Yeah, and now that CLG has all the utility that they want to work with, this is when it should, in theory, become even more difficult for Misfits. I assume they're going to buy here, and they're not going to have much utility to fight off and counter Molly if they want to push B. They're just going to kind of have to concede control, I'd assume. And now this is where it should get really tough for Misfits. CLG should be able to do whatever they want.
They do hold the early advantage. Kusa, they're going to hit with a Molotov. Again, not too much damage, only knocking about 20 overall there. So still in good shape to try and fight for the rest of this round, but Misfits taking a much more diverted opener here as they have players in the apartments. They had players kind of testing out Banana a little bit there in the opener. They've gone away now, and it's actually left it open, especially due to the smoke that was tossed back out, restricting the exit to it. So it's allowed the CTs to push back in. Ethan, though, spots them trying to go through that smoke again. Gets a double kill, dives into the smoke here, too, so the other team has not been able to spot him. It's Twist down below. He took out his teammate, and he was able to follow through with the second one, but not before losing about half of his HP in the exchange. At the end of this, it's left into a 3v3. Kusta's ready for this position here that Relics is taken up behind the pole, and he'll be dropped down to 19 HP. As Sean moves in, finding one more. The same fate spent by Ricky against Relics, though. Twist, with that pickup, leaves it all on Kusta. The clutch 1v2, but there hasn't been a plant yet, so Kusta essentially having infinite time to play with. They'll smoke that back up. They'll double smoke it, actually, but that could even prove more dangerous, especially if they're not paying attention to his exit point. So he's going to kind of sneak his way through, try to move in and basically not get spotted, but it doesn't really work out. Twist sees him, knocks him out, and Misfits do close out on their 12th.
Yeah, and I got to say, I mean, I'm not sure exactly how the kills broke down from Misfits. I'm not sure how the Porch player died on the side of CLG, but Ethan played that so well. I mean, he goes inside the smokes, great control on both the players dropping towards pit, and that was really nice by Ethan. I mean, he even had a chance to get that third kill if he would have just kind of lurked the smoke a little bit more, maybe even gone into halls and kind of just stayed alive. That would have been awesome. But I thought the start of that was really nicely done by Ethan.
Yeah, I think if he gets that third kill, they pretty much almost certainly win the round there, due to him holding control of the site overall and not even letting his teammate get access to it. So very, very close to a game-changing play there that would have allowed her CLG to tie this match back up at 11 rounds. But for now, it will be Misfits holding control of the situation. Their money is a little bit iffy, though, as we do see again. They're pretty much running on empty on 4 to 5, or 3 or 4 of their players here. Everybody's still getting rifles to work with, but Shazam has had to downgrade himself to a Galil. And again, utility's a little bit iffy beyond just smokes and flashbangs. They don't have any Molotovs. They don't have any HE grenades to try and utilize here. They have tried to push their way up Banana early on here. We can see them taking up positions to toss in those smokes now. So out they'll go. Maybe using a decoy here a little bit, but defenses on B are still pretty standard what you'd expect for this situation. Ricky was tagged earlier on, So he's now playing it back a bit more, but still, even after that smoke was deployed, there's no follow-up from Misfits. They're all kind of just sitting back at the edge of Banana here, waiting for their own opportunity to push back in. Now, though, the reapplication of that CT smoke is going to push his way back in, and Ricky waiting for it, but he was hit, so he has to fall back in. He's going to swing back out, though, but a miss, unfortunately, won't work out. Vanessa's up on the flower pot, but he, too, can only get one frag. Now the rotation's swinging back in, but there's really nothing to be spotted here from Kusta. Whiffs out the clip, not really doing any damage at all. Sick and Shazam, through the course of that exchange, did get themselves low, 14 and 35 HP respectively, but still 3 up and running for CLG. They are fast enough on the rotate here. They're already sitting in a position where they can call this to start it, but still, they'll have to move in very quickly. It's Ethan that strikes first. Back over there on the alternate angle, he'll be able to pick up Sick. Kusta finding another one, so maybe they do have a chance this after all. They've now got the man advantage, but they've got to watch out for first oranges here as Twist is waiting right there. Twist, Relics both strike. Ethan does burn out Relics afterwards, but Twist finishes the job, shuts down Cutler, and allows for Misfits to push up to 13.
Yeah, it ends up in a 1v1. Cutler gets that kill. That would have been a huge swing round going CLG's way. Instead, Misfits able to win 2 in a row, so I'm assuming CLG is probably going to save at this point. Maybe it's a pause.
Yes, it'll be a pause, probably tactical of nature from CLG there, as they need to take a moment to figure things out. As the worst part is looking at the money, I don't really think that they have enough to do anything beyond upgraded pistols heading into this round. Most are sitting right around like 2,500 if I'm looking at it correctly right now. Yeah, most around somewhere between like 2,400 and 3K.
I think there's merit to buying here. Definitely, because if they buy here, they almost certainly tie the game up. Misfits would save and then maybe buy the next round. Or even double save, I'm not really sure. But they'd probably get, 13-12 at the very least. But, if they save 14-10 most likely, but they will have a lot more utility to work with in the next round. I think there is merit to buying here, so that's probably what they're talking over.
Also a little bit more room to work with, of course, in terms of the scoreline. If they save here, they basically have to be flawless.
Yeah, but CLG, I mean, they've had many chances to win this game, I think. And that's the story of this entire series between these two teams, is that CLG, I think, has outplayed them strategically speaking, like positionally, especially on the CT side. I think they're usually in great positions to succeed, but a lot of the time not able to capitalize.
So for CLG here, the buy, obviously not going to be the greatest, but it does get them back into the game. 2 upgraded pistols with armor sitting behind it, a shotgun buy for Cutler there, and then 2 UMP pickups on Finesse and Ricky. Utility, again, is also, as you would generally expect, going to be pretty lax here as well. Just 3 smokes now, sparing flashbangs, and of course, you're not really going to be seeing anything else beyond that, but at least everybody has armor to work with, so they have that going for them. And also, they've tried something interesting here, getting a lot more aggressive. We really haven't seen anyone try to play hyper aggressively inside of the apartments, but it's a bit of a change up here. Ethan playing inside of the boiler, and then up on top you've got Cutler and Kusta playing in that first hallway. They've even kept the aggression going back over here on B too, as you have both Finesse and Ricky playing close up to the wall there that leads into the staging ground just outside of Banana. But they'll give that up as the time gets lower and they don't really see anything as they prepped for the event that Misfits were hiding behind that wall and they would just gone for a straightforward execute. They boosted Finesse up on top of first oranges here, and Ricky's playing a bit more mobily around the site. But as we actually take a look at where the Misfits are positioned, they're still spread out pretty evenly. They've got the presence on Banana, but the bomb itself is positioned just outside of that mid choke point as they do run the timer down.
The plan is, I mean, there's only 30 seconds left and they haven't done anything, and that's when these spots get really tricky because you might not have the time and the communication to really clear them properly.
And they've done no info searching at all. Ethan, if he wants to push for this, he can find himself a big play, but he waits too long, and now Twist pushes in, watching out for that specific position. Cutler, though, moving in from behind on the shotgun here. He's going to have the range, and there's the headshot against Sean. Quickly diving back into the smoke, but he re-peeks. That's a little bit too long range, unfortunately. And Kusta, this clip not finding anything, does correct it, though, as he finds the frag out of Shazam, but that was a whole clip, essentially, that he had to use. He's only got 14 bullets left. Swings out, though, gets another one. He's going to go for a third here, and he almost gets it. Relic's now down at 23 HP. The last man standing is going to be Finesse in a 1v2, and as he pushes back in, the first target is going to be Twist spinning in the corner, but no, can't find that shot, and it's Twist that closes out for Misfits.
Yeah, I mean, they had a great opportunity to win that round. Misfits were with a very strange strategy. I mean, they waited till 35 seconds to do anything, and then they used just one smoke and then just all wrapped to the site except for one player after they got that boiler kill. I mean, that was pretty lucky by them, in my opinion. I mean, I think it would have been very easy for just one thing to go wrong and they could have lost that round. But fortunately for them, you know, they're able to win it pretty cleanly, and now CLG is kind of conceding this round a little bit. Just a taser, or P250 and a CZ with a nade and a flash, and that's really it. Everybody else on default. So it's going to be extremely difficult to win this round.
Yeah, and Ricky's getting pretty aggressive about things too. The best hope that they can have to work off of this one is going to be intel gathering, and I think Sean did manage to actually spot Kusta there a moment ago, but also up on top is going to be Finesse waiting for him. He also was tagged down at 98 HP. It seems like things are going pretty straightforward at this point. Indeed, Sean's already cleared at the B-bomb site. They also found that additional kill over there towards A, but with Sean clearing things out, at least getting those 2 kills, I should say, that is going to call for the rest of Misfits to rotate back over, as for the most part, CLG has on every single round been playing to the 3-2 split. I mean, that's generally what you expect on this map, and you very rarely deviate from that unless you're going to be trying some sort of special strat on CT side. So with those 2 kills, they know they've cleared it back out. It's going to be an easy walk-in for Misfits, and for Ethan and Cutler, best hope they can have now is to position up for exits.
Yeah, maybe they can get a gun. I'm not sure what CLG's money is looking at. Let's take a look at it. So they're going to have a pretty good buy. I think they're getting, let's see, like 2,400 here maybe? Or is it 2,900? I'm not sure. But anyway, so they're going to have pretty much a full buy. And, you know, we'll see what they do. I mean, I think if they go back to that B control and just kind of leave one guy there and maybe that guy could spot and have a smoke, you know, post B control, I think that could really help them win the round. But you know, right now Misfits they're winning a lot of these like really important gun battles that are swaying the rounds, where you would think that COG is going to win them, and then Misfits kind of, you know, just wins these gun battles that I don't think they're favored for at all.
And you can see the buys again here. Thankfully, everybody was well over, you know, 4.5 to somewhere around 6K there. Even Kusta getting himself the full op buy with utility sitting behind it. So everybody investing, but now it's time to impact here, as they've fallen flat over these past few rounds, and it has allowed for them to keep their lead going. And oh my goodness, he lines up the double beautifully. Shazam and Stick make a mistake of stacking up, and that's going to allow for Kusta to get a huge advantage from CLG right off the bat. Stick and Shazam now dead on the ground, and Misfits, no trades or even map control to justify it.
Yeah, it looked like they were going to set up for just like a quick mid-walk. I think a player is jumping out of halls.
And Twist also pushing his way back in, as they had no defenses around the porch side, so he gets himself up to this site for free. Problem being, though, is it's very risky on the other side. He was watching out to see if there was any pit presence, but there's none of it. It was only that single player on the site, with the other 3 playing back to library. Though Twist, unfortunate timing on his pop flash, allows for Finesse to push back in and get this kill for free, and Kusta on the backside, adding a 3rd to his kill counter, and a 4th as well. He goes off on this round, and it'll keep CLG alive for a little bit longer.
Yeah, and I think CLG made a good call there. I mean, you know, Twist definitely could have multi-fragged over there, but they wanted to try to trade on him before Bomb could get up porch, right? And then that way they still have site control. If they would have just let them take site and get post-plant positions in the pit with like one site and one maybe planning, then going back to porch, all of a sudden, just because it's a 3v4 does not mean they're really favored. I think Misfits could definitely have a really good chance of winning that round. So they say, hey, let's just kill this guy in sight before anything happens, and then we can react to these players coming up porch and kill him before, and, you know, take the site back and take control back.
Well, Kusta feeling it now. He's even looking for the shot early on there. Another player hiding out in Mexico, not going to be able to find it there. Cutler, though, is taking the Kobe shot with Ricky, I think, helping out on that one there. Taking the relics like there, but Sick swinging out. He's going to be able to find 2 kills pretty quickly against both Ricky and Finesse, so trying to prevent CLG from really breaking Misfits, which would be the telling point to take us over here towards OT. Kusta, Ethan, and Cutler, the last 3 spread out all over the map right now, but they are going to double down on B, which is the smart decision, as Cutler sneaks in another kill back from the CT approach, taking down Shazam. They push their way back in to be able to go up for this plant. Site control is theirs. CLG are holding for right now, but they still have the church control here to try and wrap their way out through the garden and back over here into the site, although they are going to have to wait a few more moments, as they were still keeping Ethan on the A-bomb, so there's sort of an insurance policy in case it was a fake. Kusta getting the first kill. Sean trying to roll back out, but switches the gun at the last second before he can finalize the kills. He's also paying attention for a flank over there in the event. They would have sent some players down in that direction. Now, Sick trying to hold up in the open right now, but he's overwhelmed very quickly, and again, Sean was nowhere near any of this, so Ethan pushes back in, finds that final frag against Sean, and it will be a nearly flawless retake from CLG.
Yeah, I thought for sure that was going to go Misfits' way after Sick gets those 2 kills. Pretty huge mistake by COG. I think when they threw that Molotov, they thought that it was going to get behind the wall, but Sick just kind of sits there and waits and waits and waits, and then finally peeks and wins these 2 gun battles. He takes the B site pretty much by himself. But Cutler's kill through the smoke was absolutely huge on Shazam. And then they're able to take back control and win that 3v3. Sean, again, you know, he was pushing towards there, missing that kill. Like you said, he just stopped shooting for whatever reason, was big as well. But that was Misfits round to lose, definitely.
Kusta going to be going again for the spot, and he finds it this time. Missed it on the last round, but sinks the shot here. Okay. I was about to say, a problem being he's going to push himself out really aggressively, but that still works out great as he even gets a second kill against Shazam now. Once again, opens it up with a double, just like he did 2 rounds back. Obviously not with a single shot this time, but still, we're in a 5v3, and Misfits have nothing to show for it.
Super aggressive in middle. Was Kusta. Even looking towards that mini pick could be very dangerous. But he seems to have the angle down, gets that kill, and now we have a double stack at B at the triple area. So we'll have to see how this works. I haven't seen this done yet on this map, but I also haven't seen anybody mauling triples on like B takes. So.
Well, we have Misfits lining up with what utility they can utilize here. Smoke's going in, but mainly to cover off the backside here currently. The Molly is going to go back down, and it is impacting onto Ricky, but a T-Smoke covers it back off, so they do counter out this double stack here, but both Finesse and Ricky are going to be sticking around here for right now. Molotov deployed over there under the steps to delay them a few moments, and this nade's going to go back. It may bounce off the wall, though, so it does great damage, as we can see, and Twist and Sick just go spraying into that one to be able to finish off one player. Oh, even see there, too, that Sick tried to react to the Kusta push, but unfortunately was still taken down. Sean is available for a trade. We end up in a 2v2, but again, mind the timer. Only 20 seconds remaining. They still put the bomb down onto the ground. Thankfully, neither of the remaining CTs are close enough to challenge that plant, so they do succeed in putting it down. But both of these Ts are also playing in fairly open positions too, and in fact, Ethan's going to walk right in. No one was covering the flank, so he gets that kill for free. Sean is going to try to play back a little bit more over here towards the garden, as Ethan and Cutler do sneak their way back up together here to push into it. There's the first one lined up, but Sean doesn't get the kill. They haven't stacked on the bomb yet. He gets 1 kill, but now down at 16 HP. He has to try and wrap back around here. Cutler, again, has not jumped on the bomb just yet. Now he's going to swing back out. Cutler still has a huge advantage, but no! Cutler's going to walk right into a headshot angle for Sean, and he'll finish it off. 16-12 will be the final scoreline, and these teams will trade blows this evening, going 1-1 for the night.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I thought COG played pretty well, like positionally. I think they missed a lot of shots they should have had. You know, Twist jumping out of the halls was able to get a lot of impact frags. Ethan, that one round when we saw that double kill, could have had that third. Cutler, that miss when they were wrapping the site was such a huge swing around, and when he missed that guy wrapping, and then I think it was Sick, and then him killing his teammates was just absolutely huge. So COG, you know, a lot of the time that happens on a new map. You might be in the right position, but you're not used to the shots that you have to hit. You're not used to the angles and things like that, and sometimes you falter because of it. I think that was like a case of that.
All right. So to close out the discussion here on our first match tonight, let's send it back over to our analysis desk with Stunna and Vendetta.
Thank you, Mr. Blue. Good matchup there. A good showing for Misfits, absolutely, here on Inferno.
Yeah, much better showing in that sense than what we saw in Cash. They still suffer from some of the same tendencies as we saw in Cash. I think initially we saw them on their CT side try to set up with the 3-man towards Banana initially, at least having Sean use the first smoke to kind of alleviate the pressure from the guys who were defending B. But as we went later into it, and as the more and more CLG got into the game, it was a lot off of the fact that Misfits were very content with just giving up ground, especially towards mid a lot of the time.
Absolutely. I mean, and more so here in the Misfits, we're going to bring up a replay now, round 11. Relix gets it's a pretty nuts diffuse here. I mean, go ahead and walk us through this one, actually.
Yeah, so this is one of the situations where you see Misfits being very content with giving up so much map control. To be fair, they are playing against a force buy pretty much from CLG, and that might be why they're taking the distance they are, but again, it's giving a ton of space for CLG to actually move up and get close and personal with Misfits. So you rely, if you're Misfits, on hitting your shots when they come through. And we're going to see them wrap around Arch. Shazam's going to hit one shot, but it's going to allow Kusta to sneak by in towards Connector. And the 2 guys remaining over towards that A bomb side, you can see the crossfire here, they're not really in a position where they actually can trade off of each other. And that basically leads to them losing the entire bomb site. So CLG, they do get a bomb plant down. Kusta actually finds that frag. It actually gets tagged from 31 to 8 HP here by Relics and CT Spawn. Gets kind of caught off by that and starts legging it. And eventually Relics will end up finding a 4K here. But this is like a very poorly played anti-eco, honestly, from Misfits. They could have played it so much better. And I think the fact that they set up so passively is part of the problem they have in a lot of the ways. And the fact that their crossfires doesn't really seem too well thought through. But in the end, it does end up giving them around. And, you know, given how close the game was, that definitely could have been the swing that CLG needed to close this out, or at least have a shot at winning.
And as we do see that diffuse come in there.
Yeah. Cutler just not finding the right angle.
It was close.
It was, I think actually, bomb turned green. So you don't get any closer than that.
We haven't seen a lot of Inferno so far. It's been in the active duty map pool for a few weeks now. And we obviously saw Misfits look a little bit more comfortable here in this map, and especially on their CT side. Is this something where we just saw comfortability come into play across the map?
I think on some parts, yeah. I think it also might be a big case of CLG not necessarily being as comfortable as they would have been on Cash, right? So that comes into play as well. Because there's still a ton of room for improvement if you're a Misfits, even on the CT side. I think the way Twists played that apps apartment, or the apartment area, was not really too effective. Used a ton of utility early on. Didn't really stagger anything when eventual pushes came in, and didn't really do a whole lot. So there's still room for Misfits to improve a lot there. But I think their B holes, normally what we saw in Cash, their passive holes didn't really work out. That was much better, especially on the B bomb side of Inferno.
Well, I'm just going to ask you straight up. Are you a fan of VODs?
Fan of VODs? Absolutely. Who isn't?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But do you know where you get the best VODs?
I have an idea, but tell me.
Okay, well, I'll show you. How about that? Look at this. Boom. YouTube.com/ESLCS. Make sure you guys go there, and you can pick up this masterpiece of work we just saw Sean Garris put across Inferno to come out over the top of CLG there. And, you know, give me some closing thoughts for you. Send it to a quick break.
I mean, fun to see Inferno being played again. CLG looking better than what I expected them to be with having the recent changes they did. And as for Misfits, the fact that I still see a ton of errors and they're still able to win Inferno, I guess that's a good sign, because they can still improve with the ease. It's easy to spot their errors, but they're still able to scrape out wins.
Okay, talking about scraping out wins. When we come back from the break, we're going to see Selfless, Slimmy Crew take on Liquid and Stan across 2 maps in Cash and Cobble. We'll be right back after this break.